Let's just restart it, dude. Welcome to WABC News.
I'm Dave Jangles.
And I'm Dave Sabo. Tonight we got some excellent news for you.
Specifically on our decade,
which we like to call
the Roaring 20s.
Thanks, and now to Case On with Sports.
My name is Stewie Cason, and I will be your sports reporter. Pro football is in a state of confusion due to three major problems. Dramatically rising salaries, players continually jumping from one team to another following the highest offer, and the use of college players still enrolled in school. A league in which all members would follow the same rules seemed to be the answer. An organizational meeting at which the Akron Pros, Canton Bulldogs, Cleveland Indians, and Dayton Triangles were represented was held at the Jordan and Hum Mobile Auto Showroom in Canton, Ohio, on August 20th. This meeting resulted in the formation of the American Professional Football Conference. Bobby Jones was the most dominant golfer in the 1920s and is regarded as the sport's greatest practitioner. His victory began in 1923 U.S. Open at Inwood and ended with his U.S. Amateur victory at Merion in 1930. He won 13 championships in 20 tries, which is the greatest run of major titles the game has ever seen. Walter Hagen was known as the showman of golf, and he was the first full-time tournament professional. Hagen won 11 professional major championships between 1914 and 1921. He won the PGA Championship 5 times, the British Open 4 times, and the U.S. Open twice. Racism in sports. The Jim Crow laws prevented gifted black athletes from participating in the American dream of success that was so much a part of the sports culture. Media sports. Media played a big role in sports because without media, people would not know as much as they know about sports and may lose interest or forget.
Action!
Mike!
Here's Gill on his report on gang violence.
New York City is rocked by an epidemic of gang violence. Manhattan has become a personal battleground for our New York gangs. Neighborhoods including the 5 Points, Hell's Kitchen, and the 4th Ward, where back alleys and tenements are infested with thieves, hustlers, and thugs. These areas should be avoided at all costs. The groups involved in everything from robbery and prostitution to murder, and their names strike the fear into even the most crime-hardened New York City dwellers. From river pirates to hustlers, gang crime is on the rise, and now even Governor Al Smith is taking notice. 8 people lay dead in the streets thanks to a brawl that happened last night. The gangs are getting out of control. The Dead Rabbits and the Brewery Boys are at it again. This riot turned on civilians when several of the gang members killed 8 and robbed countless others. A member nicknamed the Hellcat Machine, who is known for filing her teeth to points and putting on gold fingernails when she went into battle, is the gang member credited for inciting the riot. She was later found in an illegal speakeasy drinking whiskey. She is now in custody and the authorities have yet to release a statement. Many citizens are concerned about the rising of gangs in the city. One prominent gangs, the 40 Thieves, are a band of Irish guys who are known for petty thieves. They are also known for being one of the oldest Irish gangs in this part of the state. Some say that the notorious gang first came together in a grocery store and a barn owned by a woman named Rosanna Pierce. When asked how they met, Mrs. Pierce said the 2 guys were drinking buddies, and then the one brought more into the bar from the grocery store across the street. That progressively more came, and they just kept showing up. The Brewery Boys are a band of lower Manhattan thugs who have a violent past with the Irish 5 Points gangs, and it doesn't seem like either of them have any desire to stop. The Dead Rabbits are also a group of Irish immigrants, who has become one of the most feared gangs to emerge from the 5 Points. As everyone knows, the 5 Points is named for its location at the intersection of 5 crooked, narrow downtown streets. The Daybreak Boys are also one of the most ruthless crews of the river pirates, who prey on our city's booming shipping industry. Finally, the YOs are one of the most dominant New York street gangs. Citizens should be cautious of their surroundings and use the buddy system. That's it.
Now to new news with Pete on a speakeasy.
Since Prohibition has started, America has been split in half. Many devout Protestants that live in the rural parts of our country believe Prohibition will cleanse our country of sin and stop many alcoholic abusive relationships within our country. While the urban city dwellers believe that Prohibition is unconstitutional and that people should have the right to decide with their own free will whether they should drink or not. In reality, the smuggling and purchase of alcoholic beverages in the United States from Mexico and Canada has skyrocketed, and the laws supporting Prohibition has only made America more rebellious. Right now, we are inside one of New York's many speakeasies that was recently busted by the authorities. The police have arrested the owner of the speakeasy and arrested many more that were caught drinking alcoholic beverages. This, however, is only one of the estimated 20,000 to 100,000 speakeasies in New York City right now.
And now to John with the latest in the music and poetry business.
I'm John, and this is my colleague. Alright, so today we will be talking about the new music type called jazz. And jazz is a mix of poetry and music. And when these two forms of literature merged, the Harlem Renaissance and the influence of African American writers had a big part of this. It also had a big part with fashion and the jazz women's liberation. During the 1920s, jazz music provided the motivation and opportunity for many women to reach beyond the traditional sex role designated to them by society. Bottom culture rises. African American jazz music swept throughout the country in the 1920s, and jazz music was able to gain respect as an African American form of art. For the first time in history, the culture actually was worth something. It wasn't just the dirt that people walked on. And I'll also be talking about Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway was born on July 21st, 1899, in Oak Park, Illinois. And he graduated from high school in 1918, and later went on to go to school in Paris in 1921 for literature school, and his first published novel was The Sun Also Rises, which also was his most successful novel. And he shaped the time period for writing and was a major role for writers everywhere. Back to you, James and Mike.
In other news, Jimmy Walker, currently in the running for mayor, has been accused of corruption within his administration. An investigation has been done, and he is going to be appearing in court later today. And now to Jackie Pearson, live from the courthouse.
Hello, Jackie Peterson here. We're standing outside the courthouse downtown. Inside, there's a trial going on involving the political scandals of Jimmy Walker. Currently in the running for mayor, Jimmy cannot afford something like this to tarnish his reputation so close to the voting. Jimmy is already known as a drunken womanizer, so he is nowhere near close to being known as someone who can run a city or even control his life, really. I personally am very curious as to how these accusations affect his standings in the minds of the voters. Now back to Dave Sabo in the studio.
Weird stuff, it was all over my neck, it burned. Yeah, thanks, Jackie.
Now to hit the highlights of the controversial Sacco and Vanzetti conflict. It's the court case that everyone is talking about. Two Italian immigrants, one a shoemaker and the other a fish peddler, were accused of double murder. It must be noted that both were avowed anarchists who advocated the violent overthrow of capitalism. The case is dividing up the country because Palmer and his supporters want to maintain capitalism and destroy any threat, while the opposing side argue that there's hardly any evidence showing they're connected to the crime. Now we have some live video from the courtroom.
We didn't do it!
How was your mother's pasta last night?
Oh, it was delicious, but then we didn't do it!
You know what? Then you skipped out on the draft. Why'd you do that?
Tell him, Sacco, tell him why!
We We didn't do it.
Oh,
That's what he said. We didn't
You
do
didn't do it now. You skip out on our draft. You are known anarchist.
I didn't do it.
Whoa,
I didn't do it.
You know what? I sentence both of you. I sentence both of you to execution by electrocution.
What? Oh, Sako! Sako, no! No, please, please, my mama, what will she do without me and Sako? I just want you all to know that I am innocent. I have no connection with the crime. I forgive all those who do this to me and Sako.
Me too.